The superpower nobody told you about, why being alone might be the bravest thing you ever do. Welcome to Soft Girl Era. The sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. I'm your host, Leanne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft and loving, every second of it. Recently, I had the honor of sitting down with Carrichia Clark, a woman whose wisdom, courage, and relentless commitment to emotional honesty are quietly reshaping how we think about love, loss, and the power of being alone. Carrichia is not just surviving her season of solitude, she is redefining what it means to heal with intention, to protect your peace without apology, and to prepare your heart for love without rushing the process. Her insights are a gift to every woman who has ever wondered if taking time alone makes you broken, or if maybe, just maybe, it makes you whole. She is making the world a better place by giving women permission to pause, to heal, and to choose themselves first. So let's talk about something we don't talk about enough: being alone, not lonely, alone, and how that space, that sacred, uncomfortable, sometimes terrifying space, might be the most powerful thing you ever give yourself. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud: we live in a world that treats being alone like a disease. Like if you're not coupled up, partnered, or at least actively swiping, something must be wrong with you. And if you're a Black woman, forget it. You're supposed to be strong, available, nurturing, and ready to love everybody except yourself. You're supposed to show up for your family, your friends, your job, your church, and maybe if there's any energy left, squeeze in a situationship that drains you more than it fills you. But what if I told you that being alone for a season is not a failure? What if I told you it's a reset, a recalibration, a chance to remember who you are when you're not performing, protecting, or proving anything to anyone? Caricia Clark reminded me of this truth in the most powerful way. And today, I want to share her wisdom with you because if you've been feeling guilty for not being ready, if you've been beating yourself up for needing space, or if you've been wondering when you'll finally be soft enough to let love in again, this is for you. Let's start here. It is okay to be alone for a season. Solitude is not a scarlet letter. It is not a sign that you are unlovable, too picky, or emotionally damaged beyond repair. It is a season, and seasons change. There's research that backs this up. The National Institute on Aging has studied widowhood extensively, and what they found is profound. Widowed women, particularly Black women, often need a significant period of solitude and reflection before they are emotionally ready to open up again. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. When you lose a spouse, you don't just lose a partner, you lose routines, identity, daily rhythms, and a version of yourself that existed in that relationship. Rebuilding takes time, and that time alone is not wasted, it is sacred. Think about it. When someone loses a spouse, they lose the person who knew how they took their coffee in the morning. They lose the sound of another heartbeat in the house. They lose the future they had planned, and society expects them to just move on, get back out there, start fresh. But grief doesn't work on a schedule. Healing doesn't come with a deadline. And the women who honor that, who give themselves permission to sit in the discomfort of being alone, often come out of it with stronger emotional clarity, better boundaries, and a more intentional approach to love. Caricia knows this deeply. After 13 years of marriage and the devastating loss of her husband, she entered a season of solitude that was not about shutting the world out. It was about letting herself breathe again. It was about learning to live in a body that had been reshaped by grief. And here's what she discovered: being alone gave her clarity, it gave her boundaries, it gave her the emotional space to ask herself what she actually wanted, not what everyone else expected. And that clarity, that's power. But here's where it gets tricky: there's a difference between healing and hiding. between taking time to regroup and building walls so high that love can't climb them, even when it's real. Carrichia shared something that hit me right in the chest. She said she wants to be in her soft girl era, but she can't because the men she's encountered are in their soft girl era. And I laughed because honestly, what else can you do? But underneath that humor is a real tension. How do you stay open when the world keeps disappointing you? How do you protect yourself without shutting everyone out? The American Psychological Association has studied this exact dynamic. They found that people who take intentional time between relationships, who pause long enough to process what happened and identify their patterns, enter their next relationship with more clarity, better boundaries, and less emotional carryover. But the key word is intentional. You can't heal if you're just running from one connection to the next, trying to avoid the discomfort of being alone. And you can't heal if you're so guarded that you mistake every red flag for a reason to shut down completely. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a woman who just got out of a long term relationship. She's hurt, she's confused, she's questioning everything. And the first thing people tell her is, girl, you need to get back out there. Don't let him win. Find somebody new. So she does. She downloads the apps. She goes on dates. She tries to fill the void. But here's the problem: she never processed what happened. She never asked herself why the relationship ended. She never identified the patterns that kept showing up. So what happens? She brings all that unresolved pain into the next relationship, and the cycle repeats. And now imagine a different woman. She gets out of the same relationship, but instead of rushing into the next one, she pauses. She sits with the discomfort. She journals. She goes to therapy. She asks herself the hard questions. What role did I play in this? What do I actually want? What am I willing to accept? And what am I not? And when she finally does enter a new relationship, she's not running from loneliness. She's walking toward love. And that makes all the difference. Healing is not about shutting people out, it's about staying open while also staying discerning. It's about softness with boundaries. And that, my friends, is an art form. Let's talk about Black women for a second, because this conversation doesn't exist in a vacuum. Black women are often raised to be resilient, independent, and emotionally self sufficient. We are taught that needing help is weakness, that asking for support is a burden, that if we don't do it ourselves, it won't get done. And so we become experts at survival. We carry families, we carry communities, we carry entire legacies on our backs. And we do it without complaining because that's what strong women do. But here's the problem: that survival skill, that ability to keep going no matter what, can become a prison. It can turn into a reflex that says, I don't need anybody, I'm fine on my own. And before you know it, you're not just protecting yourself, you're isolating yourself. The Office of Research on Women's Health has documented this tension extensively. Black women navigate cultural expectations to be resilient, independent, and emotionally self protective. And while those traits are survival tools, they can also make it incredibly difficult to stay open to love. The challenge is learning how to remain soft, open, and protected at the same time. How to say, I can take care of myself, and also I'm ready to receive love. Think about the Black woman who grew up watching her mother work three jobs, who saw her grandmother raise six kids on her own, who learned early that the world will not save you, so you better save yourself. That woman grows up strong, capable, unstoppable, but she also grows up believing that needing someone is a liability, that love is a luxury she can't afford, that softness is a weakness she can't risk. And so she builds walls. She becomes the friend everyone calls when they need help, but she never asks for help herself. She becomes the partner who handles everything, but she never lets anyone handle her. She becomes the woman who is always strong, always capable, always fine, until one day she's not. And she realized that the walls she built to protect herself have also kept love out. Carrichia is navigating this tension in real time. She's learning that softness is not about lowering your standards or accepting less than you deserve. Softness is about readiness. It's about making space emotionally, mentally, and spiritually for the kind of love that honors you. And that requires something most of us are terrible at: patience. Because here's the thing: you can't rush readiness, you can't force yourself to be soft before you've healed what needs healing. You can't skip the season of solitude and expect to show up whole in your next relationship. It doesn't work that way. Softness requires readiness, and readiness requires time. So, what does that look like practically? It looks like taking a real pause, not a performative break where you're still scrolling dating apps and texting your ex. A real pause, a season where you ask yourself the hard questions. What patterns keep showing up in my relationships? What am I avoiding by staying busy? What do I actually want? And am I ready to receive it? It looks like therapy, journaling, prayer, long walks where you're not listening to a podcast or trying to fix anything, just walking, just breathing, just being. It looks like saying no without guilt, no to dates that don't feel right, no to people who want access to you but don't respect your boundaries, no to rushing into connection just because being alone feels uncomfortable. And it looks like trusting that this season, this quiet, sometimes lonely, deeply transformative season, is not punishment, it's preparation. Carrichia Clark is living proof of this. She is not waiting for love to find her. She is preparing herself to receive it. She is doing the work. She is honoring her grief. She is protecting her peace. And she is refusing to settle for anything less than the kind of love that sees her, honors her, and meets her where she is. And that, my friends, is what the soft girl era is really about. It's not about being weak. It's not about needing a man to complete you. It's about choosing yourself so fully, so unapologetically that when love does show up, you're ready, not desperate, not performing, ready. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation with Carrichia Clark. Three things. Write them down, tattoo them on your heart, whatever you need to do. One, it's okay to be alone for a season. Solitude is not failure, it's a reset. It's a chance to rebuild your identity, your confidence, and your emotional safety. Don't let anyone rush you out of that space. Two, don't confuse healing with shutting people out. Taking time to regroup is wise, staying guarded forever is not. Learn the difference. Stay soft, stay discerning, stay open. Three, softness requires readiness. If you want a healthy relationship, you have to make space for it emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And that means doing the work now, in the quiet, in the alone, in the season nobody sees. Because here's the truth: the world will always tell you to hurry up, to move on, to get back out there, to stop being so picky, to lower your standards, to settle. But you don't have to listen. You get to take your time. You get to heal at your own pace. You get to protect your peace without apology. And you get to choose softness, not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to be vulnerable again. So here's my challenge to you today: stop running from the quiet, stop apologizing for needing space, stop letting the world dictate your timeline for healing. Take the pause, do the work, ask the hard questions. And when you're ready, when you're truly ready, step into love with your whole heart, not just the parts you think are acceptable. because the world doesn't need more women who are just surviving. It needs women who are whole, women who know their worth, women who have done the work and are ready to receive the love they deserve. Carrichia Clark is doing that work, and so can you. Now go take your time, go protect your peace, go be alone if you need to be. And when you're ready, when you're truly ready, love will meet you there. Not because you're perfect, but because you've done the work, because you've honored the season, because you've learned that being alone is not a weakness, it's a superpower.